everyone, I'm Lindsay Altamirano with Dalia Coffee, and today I'm going to teach you how to make cold brew right at your house. It is my favorite method of drinking coffee, and I have a glass almost every day. Working all day long, having an infant at home, it's very refreshing, very delicious, especially if you're using Dalia Coffee. So here's what you're going to need. Coffee, of course, a scale, and your toddy kit. So these you can find on Amazon. This is a kit. You don't need to go to some fancy coffee store. You're going to get this bin, if you will, a filter, and a cork. I'm going to show you how you use those in a little bit. So with cold brew, the grind size is going to be the coarsest grind. So that's basically the size of the beans as they're getting ground up. If you buy your beans whole, then you can do this at home. Otherwise, you're going to want to ask for wherever you buy your coffee for it to be ground coarse. This is much bigger than the coffee that you're putting in your auto drip machine to make your hot coffee. So you're going to weigh out about 200 grams. Well, exactly 200 grams. Don't let Ernesto hear me say about. That's just the size and the ratios that we like to use, but you can play around with whatever you want. And once you do that, grind up your coffee, and that'll be set and waiting. I'm using Trabajadora today, and that is a light to medium roast that we do at Dalia Coffee. So you can check that out. It's very flavorful. So you want to get your toddy ready, and all you have to do is put your filter in, this little round thing, and I'll show you in a second once I got it in there. You're going to want to dampen it. It just helps. So if you see that like that, just to cover that area, a little damp. And then on the flip side, you're going to put your little cork in here. Not your wine cork. That can come later in the evening. And set it up. See, this is pretty straightforward already. Then you're going to take your coffee and just pour it all in. Try not to make a mess all over the counter. All right. I got it all in there. And put your bag to the side. I just like to even it out. I don't know, my A-typeness, if you will. And then comes the second most important part of this whole process is water. So if you check out any of our other videos, you're going to see us talk about the importance of quality water. That can change the entire flavor of your cup of coffee. So if you're just drinking tap water with your coffee, it can ruin even the best specialty coffee. We at the house use a reverse osmosis system. Whatever sort of filtration that you want, it actually will make a difference. So I've already measured out some water. And because I forget the ratios, Ernesto has them memorized, that's why cold brew is so easy to make. All I have to do is pour it to the top. Now, I like to put in a little water just to sort of coat a lot of the surface. So you can see, you can play around with it. I'm Italian. We don't use recipes or measurements, so that's why cold brew is so easy. So I just put in a decent amount of water if you want to take a look at that. And I just kind of stir it around, almost like we're baking. I just kind of like to, get it a little mixed up before I put all the rest of the water. And I think it gives it a nice blend. We'll put that fork to the side for a second. And then just finish pouring. You're going to pour all the way to the top till you get sort of a finger length away. I mean, Ernesto defines that very differently than me, so I just go with just under the top of the bin. But see, you do end up using a lot of water. That was almost 2 liters, and we're still going here. And if you like pour overs, you can kind of use that same motion to kind of get it to rise to the top. You can see how that's going. So cold brew is not iced coffee, as you can tell. That is very different. Iced coffee is hot brewed coffee, and that's, you can see, that's about as high as it's going to get. Iced coffee is hot brewed coffee that is then iced. Cold brew is brewed cold, as you can tell. It is very different, less acidic than hot coffee, and believe it or not, gives you more of a jolt of caffeine than hot coffee. I can get into the science of that later. So I'm going to put this aside. What we like to do just to avoid any spills for brewing this coffee is sort of do a 2-plate system. It's not fancy. It just works. Because unfortunately, folks, you're going to have to wait 24 hours to drink this delicious cold brew. But it's worth it. Trust me. Sometimes I sneak it in 3 hours earlier because it's time to drink coffee. Ooh, see, I put a lot in there. That's okay. You can make a mess. That's what the plate's for. It's not going to ruin the coffee. We're all humans here, right? Don't show Ernesto. He'd probably kill me if he saw this right now. But that's how it's going to sit for 24 hours. Then I'm going to put that to the side. This is like that cooking show magic. Voila! This is 24-hour brewed cold brew. Look at that. Now, something I want to show you. Bear with me. I'm putting on this little sink. I'm going to give you an example of what this is how you're going to get this out of the toddy, because I'm sure there's a really, fancy way to do this, but this is how we do it. So once this is all done being brewed, you're going to carefully maneuver the full toddy over the top of this glass jar. And this, if it doesn't come in your kit, you can also just buy this on Amazon. And as you can see, it says toddy. That's what I'm talking about, Toddy. And you're going to lift your cold brew bin, I'll just call it a bin, over here, and ever so carefully pull out that cork and sit it on top. And it's going to filter all the coffee out of there, maybe like over 15 minutes of time. And you're just going to let it all come out until all you can see in the top are grounds. Now, at our house, we have sort of a sustainable system going. So we have sort of like worm farm where that creates fertilizer for the backyard and soil. So all the coffee grounds that we use in the house go to that worm farm and back into the soil. And so just something to think about. You don't have to get rid of your coffee grounds like that. And then get to enjoy a nice cup of cold brew. Now keep in mind, this is condensed. So however you want to end up drinking it, if you want to add water to it, I like to put ice cubes in mine. I think for me, it's more of the idea, but it does dilute it a little bit, and I like that better. So whatever you want to do straight like this, Ernesto likes it like this, add ice cubes, add a little water. It's delicious. Oh yeah, I just have to refrain from drinking way too much of it. So if you like what you saw, subscribe. If you have any questions, comment below. Let us know. If you would like to buy some of our coffee to try out these methods with, you can go to ladaliacoffee.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much, everyone.